Once a saint, always a saint, and a saint for 2020. The announcement came yesterday. And, Chris, you and I both got the unmistakable vibe. It's easy for us to say it now, but we've been saying it ever since we had him on set that Friday before the Super Bowl.
Yes.
This guy's coming back.
Yes.
We had the sense he's coming back. He's coming back, and now it's official. He's coming back for 2020.
Yeah, it's awesome that he's coming back. I mean, come on, it's Drew Brees. He's a living legend. It's the New Orleans Saints. They're a team that's on the cusp of the Super Bowl every year. It's just been one tragedy after another. And you're right, Mike. I mean, he couldn't really hide it, right? I truly felt like that clip there was a Freudian slip. Like, I don't think he really meant for it to come out that way. And then once we called it, he didn't know how to react. But it's great to see him back. It is. And now the Saints and that quarterback situation becomes very entertaining going forward. Not only him with Taysom Hill, Teddy Bridgewater, how do they balance it all? And it'll be fun to watch.
And look, I have to press pause here for a second and congratulate you. I feel like we should fire off confetti. After 2.5 years of doing this show, you finally nailed it with Freudian.
Thank you.
I have heard every possible pronunciation.
Yes.
None of which were even remotely accurate. Freudian, extra syllables,
Freudian
letters
almost
that
came
aren't
out
in there.
today. It almost came out today,
Yeah,
Freudian.
but good. Well done, Freudian.
You.
And I think you're right. I think he slipped. We had him on the ropes on which team he was going to pick to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
So his safe harbor was, well, I really shouldn't say anything because we're going to play both of these teams next year. And it came out, and it was too late to take it back, and we busted his chops. But even without that, I had a sense he was coming back. And look, this is good for football. This is good for football fans. We are still in the middle of a golden age of quarterbacking that we need to appreciate. We've got the old guys still hanging around. Tom Brady going on 43. Drew Brees is 41. They're still there. Ben Roethlisberger getting closer and closer to 40. He's still here. You've got Aaron Rodgers on the wrong side of 35. He's still going strong. Russell Wilson, 31. He wants to play until he's 45. And you got all these guys under 30 who are great players.
Right.
There are so many great quarterbacks right now in the NFL. It's never been like this before, Chris.
No, it is. It's a plethora of quarterbacks. And it's an awesome dynamic to what you mentioned there because, we have living legends who are, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, living legends, first ballot Hall of Famers, amazing, all that. But they're not the best quarterbacks in football right now, but still good enough to win Super Bowls with and playing at a remarkable high level for their age. And then, yes, there is the young guys of the group, the Watson, the Mahomes, and everything about that who are chasing these guys down. Their stats, their records, Super Bowl titles. They're trying to use these guys as a benchmark. It is a very cool dynamic right now in the NFL. And the other thing I'll say about Drew Brees, I'm just, I'm amazed about him and Brady and what they're doing. I mean, the athlete he still is, the toughness Brees still shows in the pocket to hang in there. And I think the other thing I liked is the other thing he said to us, Mike, at the Combine. I think he's gotten to a point where, hey, of course he's got an ego. He's got to have an ego to be Drew Brees, but not enough to where he wants to compromise the teams. And the thing he said about Taysom Hill about, if we have to play him 15 snaps or 25 snaps a game, I'm all for it. And I truly believe him when he said that. I think at this point of his career, there's nothing more he wants than another Super Bowl title. And I think he realizes Taysom Hill is a good curveball for that offense.
And we're going to play that sound in a second, but here's another point that I want to make before we do that.
Yeah.
We were asking Brees about the issue of retirement, and, it's been hard, I think, for Saints fans to process what the team has gone through the last 3 years, to be so close, to be tantalized every year, and to have it all come crashing down. But I think from Brees' perspective, the way these 3 years have gone is far better than the 3 years before that. And it was the 3 years before that that had him engaged in some serious soul-searching heading into 2017. He told us, and I'd never heard him say this anywhere else, that he was seriously considering retiring after 2017.
Yeah, right.
If it had been like the 3 years before it, where they were 7-9, 8-8, not in the playoffs. But that great season, even though it ended with a disastrous outcome in Minnesota, then another great season, then another great season. I think having 3 straight great seasons, regardless of the outcome, that was the fuel to get him to come back. And if he comes back and he's sharing the job with Taysom Hill, I'm going to go ahead and play that sound that you mentioned earlier so we can button that.
Yeah.
Hang on to your point. I see you getting ready. I see from my peripheral vision this way, I see you doing this. But let's hear what Drew Brees had to say when we raised the possibility of a job-sharing arrangement where we see a lot more Taysom Hill playing quarterback than we have in the past. Here's Brees from just a couple of days before the Super Bowl.
I'll be the first one to sit here and tell you that if I'm back and Taysom's there alongside me, call the plays that are going to put us in the best position to win.
Right.
And if that means Taysom Hill is taking 30 snaps a game, 25 snaps a game, then so be it. Yeah. I'm all for that.
Again, Brees with us just a couple of days before the Super Bowl. And here's the thing. We don't know how it's going to play out. And once we hear, number one, how much they're paying Brees this year, and number two, how much they're going to have to pay Hill to keep him around, we're going to have a better understanding of whether and to what extent that job is going to be shared this year. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it's going to be another year like last year. Maybe they're just going to work Hill in more on offense where he's not the quarterback, given how dominant he was in that playoff game. But it's going to be an interesting balance for Sean Payton to strike. But Drew Brees has already said, hey, whatever it is, as long as we're winning, I don't care, Chris.
Yeah, well, and you're right, Mike. I think the big thing there, as far as pertaining to Hill and Drew Brees, is the contract, the money, the situation. That will tell us a little bit about, I think, how much they intend to use Taysom Hill, how much they intend really for him to be the future of the franchise and all of that. And, of course, you mentioned it many times. Taysom Hill, he's a freak player, and you said it, and you're spot on. He was the best player on the field of that Vikings game. He does. He brings something special to that offense, and it's something that's hard to prepare for. We saw that with everybody trying to stop Lamar Jackson this year. So imagine trying to stop that type of offense along with the dissection of Sean Payton and Drew Brees. And the other thing, too, Mike, to what you said before about Brees, right, with the last 3 years, I mean, that's to me the biggest thing, and you're spot on. I mean, that's where it is. That's why he's back. This team is a Super Bowl team still, and I think he knows that. Yeah, just juggling a few pieces here in the offseason, a free agent here, a free agent there, and a few draft players, and they're going to be right in the mix again for home field advantage. And I think he's going, I feel healthy. I still got drive to want to play the game. Why retire? I got a chance to win another Super Bowl. They got a good O-line, running backs, offensive play caller, defense is good. They really got it all. And so I think that's got to help the situation out when you have that support system.
There's a belief in league circles that in any given year, there are 10 teams that have a realistic shot at winning the Super Bowl,
right,
and then everybody else. And
right,
really 10 organizations that get it, and the other 22 just kind of spinning their wheels and hoping to maybe get lucky from time to time. The Saints, who for years had been one of the other teams, have been for the last 15 years one of the teams that is in the mix to win it, and especially the last 3 and going into this year. And so many crazy things can happen that separate winning from losing, that keep a team from getting to the next level of the playoffs, getting to the Super Bowl, whatever, but you got to be in the mix to see where you can land, and I think Brees happy to embrace that challenge. Now, here's the other challenge for the Saints, Chris, because they're going to have a budget that is available for all 3 of their quarterbacks, and I'm a firm believer they're going to need 3 because it can't just be Drew Brees with Taysom Hill as the backup, because it's going to be a different offense for Taysom Hill. Big Cat was on last Wednesday, and he had me on the ropes a little bit over the idea of Taysom Hill being a franchise quarterback. His argument is, well, why wasn't Taysom Hill the guy who played the 5 games when Drew Brees was injured? And a point that a reader made that I wish I had thought of at the time, you got to dramatically change the offense for Taysom Hill.
Sure.
It's a new attack altogether. If Drew Brees is the starter and Drew Brees gets injured, you need a backup like Teddy Bridgewater that you can plug in to run the Drew Brees offense. They're going to need a guy like that, and it's not going to be Teddy Bridgewater because Teddy Bridgewater is going to get a lot more money to go somewhere else. That's going to be the challenge for them in maybe the second wave of free agency, finding the guy who can come in and be the number 2 in the Drew Brees offense.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, first off, I don't know if they were totally comfortable with Taysom Hill with all the drop back pass stuff. It's all improving and all of that, but you're right. They would have had to change the offense to a degree. So that is a stress on the team. The contract situation and what they do if Teddy Bridgewater leaves town, which I think we both expect him to, well, they got to bring somebody else in or they're endangering Taysom Hill and the team in general. Taysom Hill can easily get hurt on special teams or one of these runs we're talking about when he is Lamar Jackson on the edge, and then, damn, you don't have a backup quarterback. So that's, to me, part of this that I'm excited to see, too, is just what is going to be their plan of attack? If they're really serious about Taysom Hill for the future, right, and then they make him the true backup this year, he's the true number 2, then I don't know if we're going to see a ton of him in any package, really. I think they'd have to be careful if they've given him money where they also want to be the future. Now, if they do like what they did last year, what you're saying is bring in another version of this year's Teddy Bridgewater, a guy who they feel like is a legitimate pocket passer who's had reps that way, and do that. And now, Taysom Hill's in the same role he's been in the last few years. But it's still dangerous if he's the future. And that's the things I want to hear Sean Payton talk about when, he gets in front of a microphone once again.
And I also think that they're in a position where they can attract a highly competent backup to Drew Brees, somebody who would take less money to be part of that organization in New Orleans. Versus going to a team that just needs a backup, and, we need a backup, we need to check that box and have a backup. There's a greater opportunity to be part of a winning program. We saw what happened last year with Drew Brees. He missed 5 games due to injury. There's an opportunity to play.
Right.
And then there's an opportunity to be the backup to Taysom Hill if Taysom Hill becomes the starter in 2021 and possibly gets injured. And then you get to step in and play for Sean Payton, who is going to get the most out of you. Whatever you are as a quarterback, he's going to get the most out of you. So I think this is going to be a very attractive spot if Teddy Bridgewater leaves, and they're going to be able to get someone who could probably get more money somewhere else, because that someone is going to see the benefit, just like Bridgewater did last year when Miami wanted to make him the starter. They wanted to make him their Ryan Fitzpatrick last year. He almost did it, and then he realized, I'm better off staying here with Sean Payton. And look, he's I don't know, this notion he's going to get $30 million is being put out there by agents who are trying to scare teams away from Teddy Bridgewater, but I think he's going to get 20. And that's a hell of a lot more than we would have thought a year ago he was going to get.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's going to dance around that type of number. You're right. Or a very high-level backup quarterback number, whatever it may be. But to your point, Mike, I mean, you're spot on. It's going to be a backup quarterback position in demand for the free agent quarterbacks out there, because you're just put in a position to succeed. The team's good. The offensive play caller's brilliant. And that can add years to your career and your value, just like you just said with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he's looked at it a different way because of the way he played and executed that offense. So that'll be huge. Yes, but backup quarterbacks are quarterbacks that are looking to, I know I'm a backup, but I think I have potential to be a starter. How can I give myself a better perception around the NFL and get a chance to be a starter once again? New Orleans is the perfect place. I mean, Brees is old. Taysom's a physical runner. I mean, there's just a lot of chances that you might get out on the field, and when you do, the team around you is very good as well, and that always leads to good things.
So good news for the Saints. And look, we didn't find this as a surprise, but it's another domino that's fallen. We've had 3 quarterback dominoes fall so far this offseason. 1, Eli Manning retires. 2, Phillip Rivers leaving the Chargers. 3, Drew Brees coming back again and playing for the Saints. Of course, the big domino that will fall maybe 1 month. No, not 1 month from today. 4 weeks from today. Got to get it right.
29 days. 29 days.
Today, no. Today, it's 4 weeks.
4 weeks today?
4 weeks from today.
Okay.
The process opens. 4 weeks.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.